The Germans say the honeybees, unlike other animals, came directly from paradise, and visionary beekeeper Ron Breland thinks it's high time we find something better than a Langstroth file cabinet to house these pint-sized divinities. I got to meet Sweet Ron in September '09, and here's just some of the sweetness he laid on me. Notice his bee houses, part Brancusi, part sacred geometry, and all very cool.
The movie's called Phenomenon.
Uh-huh.
And it's a story of a guy who, John Travolta. Well, in Phenomenon, he has certain psychokinetic powers. He can make things move by just the force of his mind. And at the end of the movie, the townspeople become very upset about that. They think he's some kind of a magician or something, you know? And he says it's much simpler than that. He said, there's an aspen grove in Colorado that's 30 miles long, and they've discovered that the root system is common to all the trees. And he said everything is connected, so the question is to get related in the right way. Okay? So he then takes his finger, and there's a pen lying on the picnic table, and the pen sort of goes up and starts swiveling around, and everybody gets really upset. And he said, they say, how do you make it do that? And he says, I don't make it do anything. I ask it. At the moment, beekeeping is making them do things. And if you insist on that kind of a relationship, that's a relationship you get. But if you're willing to have a different kind of relationship, you'll get a different kind of relationship. I mean, if you want to make them do things, you have to put the gloves and the veil on and go out there like Darth Vader.
Yeah.
If you have, you know, a more sensitive, intuitive relationship, you don't have to always do that. Let's just see. Get this off without tearing this off. Now, I let them build their combs the way they want to. This hive is chock-a-block with honey.
Look at all you
Now they're up in the upper portion here.
Good girls. And usually, like toward the bottom, I've had the brood.
Yeah. Now I think what's happening here is that they've moved upwards, and the brood nest is probably sitting in here somewhere.
So how old is this?
This hive was created a year ago this spring.
Wow, so in just 1 year?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
But this hive, these hives develop more slowly than Langstroth hives because they have to build their combs from scratch. And of course the Kenya hive requires the same. That'll seat when we put the screws in. There's that opening there. Now these hives started out as prototypes, and it's my intention one of these days to put this together with Japanese joinery.
Now that was amazing. I've never seen bees so unreactive to somebody who opened up their comb.
Now I teach organic gardening not far away in a private school, and we have the children right up. I'm firmly convinced that in this low impact kind of beekeeping, they're much more laid back. In Steiner's lectures, he said the bees are love incarnate. you know.
Mm-hmm.
Where does this aggression come from? You know, we've driven them down into matter, you know, instead of looking for ways to lighten their existence so that they can do what they came here to do. We've enslaved them and demanded that they produce for profit, you know. Whereas in fact, as we know on some very simple level, they go out in the world and they fructify everything, you know. They just pollinate and there's a whole magic process that goes on with that. So some people need to keep bees so they can engage in those kinds of activities, not simply produce honey and pollinate almonds in California.
Yeah, exactly. It civilizes me. That's what I find. It's sort of that gentleness and that carefulness that you need when you're dealing with like 240,000 teeny little hands and legs,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, and it just makes moving in their realm so much more sophisticated than anything else I can do. And when you really want to love each of those little legs and arms, you find yourself lifted in this wonderful state of consciousness and carefulness and gentleness, which I think is just what human beings need to get better at.
Setting up the circumstance for a higher consciousness.
Yes.
So you can use smoke to drive bees to do your bidding, but I would say that's a misapplication.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe not a misapplication, but only one of its applications.
It's a different intent if you think of it as trying to fool them as opposed to trying to honor them.
That's right.
Such a different spirit. Oh, look at them.
So this is a straw skep.
Beautiful.
Now, down below is one of these the other way, with the opening down, and then in the very bottom is another one upside down like this. Okay? So what you see is an oval, and where we're headed is another oval, and then next year another oval. And that will be a recapitulation of the body of the bee. This will be the abdomen, this will be the thorax, and that'll be the head. That's where we tried to go on the big one. That the hive, the configuration of the hive is a reduplication of the body of the bee. Okay. Now I don't know whether that's appropriate or not, but I wait for them to tell me.